All right, here's a wild thought for you. What if a small, kind of niche crypto project actually holds the key to the entire future of the multi-billion-dollar quantum computing industry? I know, it sounds a little out there, but today we're going to dig into that exact connection. And believe me, the answer is way more surprising than you might think.
I mean, think about it. What if the future roadmap for one of the most complex technologies ever was being built, like right now, by a project that most of the big experts haven't even heard of? It totally sounds like sci-fi, right? But the evidence? Well, it's actually pretty compelling.
Okay, so to figure this all out, we're not just going to guess. We've got a map, and it's a really good one, kind of like a treasure map made by the insiders who know this space best. It's the State of Quantum 2025 report from Omdia and IQM. And what we're going to do is see if this little-known project, Qubitcoin, has somehow already found where X marks the spot.
All right, first things first, let's take a look at this map. This report, it's not just about where we are right now. It's a full-on forecast, basically, laying out the main highways and the big destinations that are going to define the entire quantum industry for the next few years.
And the single biggest thing it points to? A massive, massive shift. The whole industry is pivoting away from, solving these abstract theoretical math problems and moving towards something you can actually touch and feel. They're starting to use all this quantum power to solve real, honest-to-goodness problems in science and business. And the report, it just nails it with this one quote. It says, "The future is all about useful quantum workloads." That phrase right there, useful work, that's the treasure. That's the destination on our map. It's really the whole point of this entire quantum revolution.
Okay, so now let's bring in our dark horse, our unexpected traveler, Qubitcoin. Now, you won't find it mentioned in this report because the report's really focused on the big players, the huge institutions. But here's the crazy part. As we're about to see, its entire reason for existing is built around this exact same idea of useful work. So you're probably asking, how does it actually work? Well, Qubitcoin uses this thing called quantum proof of work. The easiest way to think about it is this. You know how Bitcoin miners solve these kind of random math puzzles? Well, instead of that, Qubitcoin miners run useful quantum simulations, like for drug discovery. So the actual scientific research is what secures the blockchain. It's brilliant. The whole process is it's so elegant. You have a real scientific problem that's set as the challenge for the network. Miners then compete to run simulations to solve it. And the output, this is the key, isn't just a secure block on a chain. The byproduct is incredibly valuable scientific data. The work serves two purposes at once.
Okay, so we've got our map, the expert report, and we've got our unexpected project, Qubitcoin. Now let's really start connecting the dots and see just how perfectly this thing lines up with the other huge predictions from the report. This is where it gets fun.
So, check this out. According to the report, the single biggest roadblock for companies trying to get into quantum is something called problem formulation. Basically, they have a business problem, but they have no idea how to speak quantum, how to translate that problem into a language a quantum computer can actually understand. It's a huge wall to climb.
And this is where Qubitcoin just walks right in and tackles that problem head-on. It does all that hard translation work for you. It finds the right scientific problems, it converts them into quantum circuits, and then it just packages them up and embeds them right into the block challenge. It's basically providing those pre-made workflows that the report says the industry is desperate for.
Okay, so what kinds of problems should we be focused on? Where's the real value? Well, the report is crystal clear on this. When they surveyed all these companies and asked, what do you want to use quantum computers for? The #1 answer by a long shot was quantum chemistry. We're talking material science and especially drug discovery.
And you guessed it, this is where it gets kind of mind-blowing. It's a perfect match, a one-to-one fit. Qubitcoin is literally built from the ground up to solve the exact kind of high-value problems in quantum chemistry that the report says is the industry's #1 priority. It's like it's aimed squarely at the bullseye.
But okay, there's another huge storm cloud on the horizon for the whole industry, the talent gap. There just aren't enough people who know how to do any of this stuff. The report flat out warns that the talent pipeline is basically a trickle, and you can't build a new world if you don't have any builders, right?
And this is where the Qubitcoin model gets even more clever. It creates a brand new on-ramp to bring people into the field. Think about it. By rewarding people for running these simulations, it gives them a real reason to learn about quantum circuits, which are the fundamental building blocks. It basically gamifies quantum programming.
It creates this path where any smart engineer can start learning and contributing without needing to go get a PhD first.
So let's just zoom out for a second and look at the big picture. The report, it really highlights what everyone thinks is the main path forward, these giant government-funded supercomputing centers, the big iron. But Qubitcoin, it points to a totally different path.
And the difference between these two models, it couldn't be more stark. You've got the traditional way. It's top-down, it's centralized, a handful of massive supercomputers paid for by big governments. And then you have the Qubitcoin model, which is the complete opposite. It's decentralized, it's grassroots. Thousands of people all over the world. And the whole thing is funded by its own built-in rewards, not by big grants. It's a totally democratized way of getting to the same goal.
And this really brings us to the core idea of this whole explainer. Qubitcoin isn't some weird fluke or an outlier. What it is a real-world working prototype. Yeah, it's small scale for now, but it's a prototype of exactly the kind of useful, accessible, hybrid quantum world that all the top industry experts are saying is coming.
So what does this all boil down to? By making useful quantum research economically self-sustaining, and by spreading out the computation all over the globe, Qubitcoin is actually putting the biggest trends of the entire industry into practice. It's just doing it in a completely new and unexpected way.
And that leaves us with one last really fascinating question to chew on. We've seen the official map, right? It's all pointing towards these giant centralized institutions. But could this decentralized self-funding model be the real dark horse? Could it be the unexpected key that finally unlocks useful quantum computing, not just for a few elite labs, but for everyone? It really makes you wonder if the future is showing up from a direction nobody was even looking.